guys, I'm Charlotte and today I'll be doing my April wrap up. In the month of April I read 5 books, which is a lot better than what I've been reading since about October, I think. I managed this by reading short books, procrastinating work, and by reading a lot of short stories. I'm hoping to keep that up, and I am aware that this video is a bit late, but better late than never. Other videos just worked out being scheduled before this, so we're doing it now. Bless you! So yeah, let's just get into it. The first book I read in April was Zoo by James Patterson and Michael Ledwidge, and I actually have already unhauled it. I gave it 2 stars, I did not enjoy it, so I just thought, why am I keeping this? Get rid of it. And I do kind of feel weird about that because I only bought it recently as well. However, I just did not get on with it, as I've said. But basically it is about animals that start behaving hyper aggressively towards humans, and it's kind of the end of the world, humans being attacked, and a bunch of scientists have to figure out why and try and stop it. I first watched the show on Netflix was it in April as well? Maybe March, I can't remember, recently, and I absolutely loved that. It was just the right kind of dystopian that I liked. The main characters all really cared about the animals, so there was no like killing of them or anything. They really tried to protect and save them. The characters were all pretty likeable as well, and it was just interesting. You got to see pretty much the entire globe going through this dystopian thing. This was vast and really enjoyable, but the book just wasn't. The book was about 500 pages just under, and it felt every bit of that 500 pages. It was slow, it dragged, there was no action. In the TV show there is quite a bit of action, but the book was just boring and slow, and honestly I can't even tell you what happened because nothing happened. It was basically just the main character saying, the animals are aggressive, we need to figure out why and stop it, and then just not doing anything, but then repeating that. And yeah, I don't really know what to say about it other than I didn't enjoy it. It felt like a waste of my time reading it, and I was really disappointed by it, especially because my mum is such a huge James Patterson fan. Like, she's read practically all of his thrillers and absolutely loves his books, so I kind of had that expectation of like, oh yeah, it'll be good because she likes him and the TV show was great, and it just fell flat. So yeah, don't recommend that one. But then I read Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman and gave it 5 out of 5 stars because I loved this. I was hesitant going into it because I don't always get on with Neil Gaiman's writing, but I think because the myths are stories that I already knew, I could overlook it, and also it kind of fit the theme, I guess. You know, his writing tends to kind of run on, but with more classical stories and mythology I find that that is how they were written and told. So yeah, it fit in that. But this is basically just a retelling of a bunch of the Norse myths. It kind of goes from the creation of the 9 worlds, and you get introduced to Odin and how he created man and how he gave up his eye and hung himself from the world tree, and then it goes all the way through to Ragnarok. So I feel like there is quite a good selection of myths. There aren't too many, but the ones that are in here I thought were very enjoyable. Did already know them, but it's always nice to revisit them. So yeah, I gave this 5 out of 5 stars because it's just, I was just on the edge of my seat every time, turning a new page going, oh, I want to read the next one, I really want to read the next one, but at the same time I was like, no, I don't want this to finish. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I'm so glad I picked it up and gave it a chance. So I would highly recommend this one if you are new to myths, you like Neil Gaiman, you know the myths and want a kind of refresher and brush up. Just honestly give this book a read. And then the next book I also cannot show you because again I unhauled it recently, but that was Luna by Julianne Peters, and I gave this 1 star. Now I was really disappointed by this book, and again I do kind of feel bad getting rid of it because I did only buy it recently, but I just didn't like it at all. There was nothing likeable or redeeming about it. But basically it is supposedly the story of a transgender girl called Luna as she goes through her transition and the things that she faces, the things that she does, all that kind of stuff. Except it is not. It is lauded and praised as this amazing transgender book, but it's the story of her cisgendered sister and how she has to cope with her sister being different. Only she doesn't even refer to Luna as her sister, she keeps saying, oh, my brother, my brother. And on one hand I can get that because Luna wasn't actually out to her family or anyone around her, she was kind of living in her male role. However, she was out to her sister, so her sister should have known better, but because she didn't like it and was like, oh no, it's weird, it's ruining my life and blah blah blah. It was just very selfish, and I didn't like that. It made me very angry actually. But then also Luna was so selfish as well, because she would be waking her sister up at 3 AM and going, oh, do you like my wig, do you like my dress? And I'm like, I get that you're having to do this in secret because you're not out to your parents and you're scared of their reactions, but why are you doing this to your sister? You know, you could easily do this after school. You know, you come home and go into her room and just like, oh, can I have a private word? You know, you don't need to be doing it in a way that affects other people. So in that regard, I thought Luna was also really selfish and I didn't like her. But it was mainly the main character Reagan, who was just a bit of a piece of shit really. I don't no other way to put it. She was selfish, she was wrapped up in herself, she claimed that Luna being trans ruined her life, and I'm like, wow, you're not the victim here, you're not the one who could potentially get beaten up for being different, or you know, it's just basically, if you're looking for a transgender story, this is not the book for you. Avoid it at all costs. I didn't like it and I was extremely disappointed with it, hence why I've given it away. And then I read Greek Myths, a wonder book for girls and boys by Nathaniel Hawthorne, and gave this 2 out of 5 stars as well. Again, I was a bit disappointed with this, mainly because of the writing style. It's written in that kind of like, oh golly boy, gosh, gee whiz kind of way, you know, that's kind of old-fashioned but still kind of, you know, 20s I guess. I don't know, I don't know when it was written or when it was supposed to be set, but I didn't get on with that. And I also didn't get on with the little kind of before and after the story sections. It would be like, oh, the characters are going up to the mountain and they're doing this and oh boy, and then it would give you the myth and then it'd be like, oh wow, what a smashing story, old chap. And I was just like, really? I didn't like that. I also wasn't keen on the myths in it. I just thought they were a bit of an odd selection. Probably the one I enjoyed most was, I actually don't know which one I enjoyed most. They were all okay. Yeah, I don't know, it wasn't bad, but it just wasn't great. Yeah, I mean, it's really pretty and the illustrations inside are really nice. I'll show you one of those if I can find one. Look. So it's a really pretty book, it just wasn't great and I expected more from it. But it is basically just a collection of Greek myths and I read it because I was on such a high after Norse myths, so. And then finally I read The Haunted Boy by Carson McCullers and gave it 3 out of 5 stars. This is just a trio of short stories that all have a very kind of despairing, melancholy feel to them. The first one, which is the titular story, is the best out of the 3 and it really shook me. I read it on the train as I was going to and from the blogger meetup, which you can see in my last video, and it really got to me and I was already feeling a bit nervous anyway, but my anxiety just peaked reading that because it was basically about a boy who is scared for his mother's life, basically because she has, it's not specified what she has, but I think it is just depression. I say just, but she is depressed and she tries to kill herself and he doesn't really get the closure from that and doesn't really accept it. And because I live with my mum, obviously, it just really hit me and I was just like, oh my god, what if I was in that situation? So that I really enjoyed and I would probably individually give that about 4.5 stars. The other 2 stories were good, but they just weren't as gripping, I guess, and I wasn't as invested in them. The middle story was probably my least favourite. Yeah, I guess that was because I didn't really get it. I don't know, I got it, but I just wasn't clear on the characters. And then the final story in this was again quite similar to The Haunted Boy, with the themes of the mother being problematic, I guess, and the kids and the father having to deal with that. So that one again would probably get a 3.54 stars, but overall as a collection I gave it 3 stars because that middle story did pull it down. So yeah, they were the books I read in April. The quantity was greatly improved from reading 2 books a month, but the quality of them just let me down. I feel like some of that is on my part though, because I haven't really been in the mood to read. I've still been kind of like, ooh, because of exams and uni and stuff, and I don't really know where my head's at the minute, and I haven't really been wanting to read, and because of that I just feel very picky and choosy, and I also don't really know what kind of things I like at the minute. You know, I walk into Waterstones and I'm just like, oh god, what is my reading taste? So I think I'm just kind of discovering that again, and again, my head is just kind of all over the place at the minute, so I don't think this is the best video, so I do apologise for that, and hopefully the next one will be more coherent and just better overall. However, I do have a cat sleeping next to me, so I can show you that because that is going to be the highlight of it.
Look at her, isn't she precious? Look at the kitten. That's quality content right there.
But yeah, thank you for sticking through this, and I will see you next time with a new video. Bye!